Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you for watching my video. Today is apparently, I'm going to look at the clock to know, Thursday, February the 11th, 2021, 12:42 a.m. I want to address this video to the leadership at the First Baptist Church, St. Petersburg. And I'm all fired up, and so I'm going to make a video. I don't know if that's a mistake or if that's the way it's supposed to be. A lot of people would wait until they're dispassionate. If I wait till I'm dispassionate, it'll never get done because, that's just not my style. For better or for worse, it is what it is. But, so I want to, I just want to recount what happened from my point of view on, I believe it was November the 1st, Sunday, I think. It was the first Sunday before the 2020 election. So I think that might have been the first, because I think Tuesday was the 3rd. So David and I went to church. I've been bringing either David or Tracy to church for, probably 8 or 10 years now. And by the way, this video is addressed to anybody who's interested. So, but specifically to the leadership. And I hope somebody else is interested. I hope some people who don't know anything about this church or me or the leadership, are inspired to exercise their voices. Because my personal conviction is that God gave us all a voice, and He expects us to use it, just like He expects us to use everything that He gives us. And it's through the use of these things that we develop them, right? So I think it's really important, and I think that we're too quiet, basically, as a people. I think we're too quiet, too subservient, too complacent, lackadaisical, and we just kind of go along to get along. We just kind of like mope and shuffle along, not to make any waves, not make any wave, and in such a way as to not make any waves, right? But that's arguably very much the obvious, not the obvious, very much the opposite of what Jesus modeled for us. And it's very much the opposite of what all the prophets of God modeled for us. Because like Jesus said, I don't know the exact verse, but He said, God sent His spokespeople to you and you killed them, And obviously they killed Jesus. Obviously they tried to throw Jesus off a cliff at one time, but it wasn't his time, so He just disappeared or, walked through the crowd sort of magically. Point being is that, people don't try to kill people unless they're really upset. It's not like a mild disagreement. It's not like a gentleman's let's agree to disagree, or it's severe. And these are the prophets of God. This is God incarnate acting this way, right? Now, I'm not trying to suggest that we should all try to act this way. I'm not suggesting that. I'm not suggesting we should all act this way frequently. Jesus didn't act that way frequently. And I'm sure the prophets of God didn't act that way frequently. I mean, it's not a small matter to act that way, right? So I don't think anybody should be flippant or reckless about causing waves, I think it should be contemplated and serious, and probably even you made some effort to do it a different way, before you went to that extreme, So, I hope I haven't lost my train of thought, but, that's sort of the spirit with which I speak and think and feel and pray and meditate, So, what happened on that day, I took David to church. They had the table set up for the masks. I don't wear a mask. I don't understand what part of that you don't understand. I do not wear a mask, right? I have an exemption card. Everybody in the county honors my exemption card, with the exception of two people. One was a teenager who I don't expect to have the sophistication or ability to, make decisions involving exceptions to spoken rules, because somebody gives a teenager who's an employee a rule, they get confused if you present them with something that's outside of the norm, So I wouldn't fault them with that, And another guy was just another guy, a little private mom and pop store place, So nobody gives me a hard time. I flew to Washington, D.C. I flew home. I never wore a mask, except on the airplane. And that was only before the snack. And after the snack, they didn't care, so I didn't put it back on after the snack. And if I remember correctly, which I think I do, it was only on the way home. On the way up, I didn't even wear the mask at all. And yeah, people say something. I show them my exemption. They say okay. I mean, it quotes the law. The statute, it's a federal statute. If you don't like it, if you don't agree with it, that's fine. Don't give me a hard time. You can take the contact information of the pastor who created the card, and you can contact him and argue with him. But don't argue with me. It's a federal statute. It's a civil rights law. If you don't like it, then, take somebody to court. But don't harass me about it. I mean, the county has this, whatever it is, and who cares? Because the county doesn't make laws. This legislature makes laws, right? The sheriff has refused to enforce the law. So what the heck is this stupid law anyway? What even is it? It's just some words on a piece of paper. We probably have laws on the books about not tying your horses up for more than 2 hours or so. I mean, there's all kinds of laws. There's hundreds of thousands of laws that are not enforced, and therefore there's no point talking about it, right? So I don't want to hear this nonsense about county laws. No, county doesn't make law. The governor doesn't make law. The county commissioners don't make law. They can have their little mandates and their little pretend Lego, Play-Doh recommendations or whatever, but who cares? Okay, and by that token, the CDC doesn't make laws. Okay, and the CDC, for the record, is a private corporation that operates on a for-profit basis who has a financial interest in making sure everybody thinks they're sick, so they'll want their vaccines because the CDC has financial stakes in the vaccines. So it's like Chick-fil-A telling everybody they have to eat chicken twice a week, right? Because Chick-fil-A hired a bunch of doctors to form a panel to advise the public that you have to eat chicken twice a week in order to stay healthy, whatever. I mean, it's kind of an absurd analogy, but there is some truth and some value to it, right? So I don't care what the CDC says. The CDC doesn't make law. We're a nation of laws. We're not a nation of random, fanatical, wild-eyed, lunatic people like John Rice running around with his pot belly, bumping into people with it, which is technically his assault. He technically assaulted me by purposely bumping me with his stomach like a Monty Python skit or something. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know if he was having a mental breakdown or what was going on, but in my experience, I've never been bumped with somebody's stomach because I wouldn't do what they wanted me to do in a church, anywhere at all, but much less a church. I mean, like I said, I don't know, was he having a mental breakdown? I don't know. I don't know the man's mental status, and I don't want to know. I don't know his mental health history. I don't want to know. But that's a very strange and disconcerting behavior, if you ask me. All right? I would never start bumping somebody like that with my stomach. That's crazy. That's a sign of a mental health problem, if you ask me, in my opinion, okay? And that was not on the 1st, that was on the 8th, okay? That was the following weekend. So David and I showed up, and these 3 masked goons, it was an extraordinarily Orwellian experience to be surrounded by masked men outside, you don't even wear a mask outside. You're not even supposed to wear a mask outside, right? I mean, it's like people are just making up quote unquote whatever, like randomly, they have they're having digestive problems, so they're in a bad mood, so they make up a new rule. Now, you don't wear a mask outside, okay? I don't care what they do on TV. I don't care what the NFL refs do and the Democrat Party leaders do. Okay, whatever. Everybody can do whatever they want, But it's just weird and Orwellian to be surrounded by masked goons. It's very strange, okay? And if I had been treated like this anywhere else in the world, then maybe, I wouldn't be making this video. But nobody has treated me like this. This is unconscionable. It's bizarre. It's strange. It's, like I said, it's like a Monty Python skit, right? It's very strange. So yeah, I did raise my voice because I have a voice that projects to begin with. I have a loud voice to begin with. I have to consciously make an effort not to speak loudly. Okay, and I'm not saying that's good, bad. It's just what it is. I mean, I'm not proud of it. I'm not ashamed of it. It's just what it is, So in addition to being a naturally loud, naturally projecting person, I also raised my voice. Okay? Now, in John Rice's terminology, that means I was yelling. Now, I wasn't yelling. If I was yelling, you would know I was yelling because I would be like, no, yelling is not raising your voice, okay? But then in the letter in which the Dr. Money and Roger Hendrickson notified me of a trespass, which is an entirely different story. I mean, I can make this an hour. The thing, this debacle has so many wrinkles and so many convoluted foldbacks and twists around and serpentine. I mean, I could make it. Might end up being an hour. Why not? I'll just go for it. But at 25 minutes, I'm going to make another video because this thing will shut off. Well, it will stop on its own and then start again on its own. But I'd rather do it consciously as opposed to letting it do it on its own because then it'll be kind of like chopped up. So yeah, I raised my voice. Okay, and that wasn't right. I shouldn't have raised my voice. I should have stayed calm. But John Rice is an obnoxious person. He's at least to me he is. He's an obnoxious, rude, oppressive person. Again, I have not had a problem like this anywhere. Even going to Washington, D.C. In my heart, I thought, man, when I get to Washington, D.C., it's going to be like communist Russia when I get up there. And I'm just walking around. I'm just like, no, what it's the exact same thing as being here, I mean, I don't know. I don't understand what the heck is going on here, right? Restaurants, every now and then somebody will say something to me. I got an exemption, okay, There was one restaurant, kind of a fancy restaurant we went to, and the guy, I showed it to him, and he actually took it. He actually read it, right? And he said, something like, I'll have to talk to my manager. And I said, okay, fine. I said, do you mind if you use the restroom while you're doing that? He said, no, fine. No, not at all. Go ahead. So I went to use the restroom. I came back and he was gone. And the hostess had my exemption card and she gave it back to me. We ate. It was sat down and ate. There was no problems. What the heck is going on here, man? With all due respect, what is wrong with you people? What is wrong with you? There's something wrong here. You have a 1,500 seat. It doesn't even matter. This part doesn't even matter. It's just an accentuating factor, right? You have a 1,500 seat auditorium with 200 people in there. You have a balcony that nobody sits in, right? But you're going to harass and trespass and call the police on somebody for being arguably the only person in this arguably unoccupied building for not wearing a mask. And why are you making everybody go through the same door? If you really want people to spread out and stay safe, you should open all the doors. Open them all. Just prop them open so you get fresh air flowing. I mean, I'm not an epidemiologist. You're not either. What is it? A CDC recommendation to force everybody into the tiniest space possible so everybody will be rubbing shoulders when they're coming and going? How does that make epidemiological sense? Right? Or it's not supposed to make sense. It's just supposed to be like a lemming operation where you train the lemmings to follow the lemmings, so when it's time to run them off a cliff, nobody will ask any questions, right? They'll just all run right off the cliff together, right? I think that's what it is. That's what it seems like to me, because when you do things like force everybody through the same doors and out the same doors, and you keep everything shut up with these giant, absurd black curtains and all this nonsense, like you're trying to stagnate the available air to make sure everybody's breathing the same air as much as possible. That's supposed to make sense. I mean, what in the world is going on here? Okay? What the heck is going on here? Right? I mean, 34,000 doctors signed a letter that said this is all nonsense. Okay? I go with them, okay? I'm sorry if you don't like that. I'm sorry. I apologize. No, I'm not going to apologize. That's crazy, right? I go with the 34,000 doctors, and you can just search engine it yourself. 34,000 doctors, okay? And that's just one instance. There's like another instance of 16,000 doctors, another instance of 1,200 doctors. There's doctors all over the place that are speaking up, okay? Some of them get fired. Some of them get persecuted in other ways. So, but they do it because it's the right thing. This is all political. Democrats love the virus. The Democrats have a virus fetish, right? I mean, they're in love with this thing. They're like, oh, the virus. I mean, it's like they're pretending to be scared, but you can tell they really love it, right? Because they're weird, man. I mean, they're just freaks. They're weird people, man. They're all about oppression and control and picking through people's freedoms and deciding which ones can we take away today, Okay, but anyway, point being is, that's my opinion. Okay, so I apologize if I offended all the Democrats, but I'm a Republican. I get it. With the exception of the last 4 years, you get it every day. I got it every day, almost my entire life, with no reprieve. Now, the last 4 years, you still get it, but there's a reprieve because you get some support from the top. But most of the time, you get no support from the top, right? It's just constant barrage of you want to kill old people, you hate children, you hate gay people, you hate old people, you hate these people, you hate black people, you hate American Indians, you hate everybody. I mean, this is what a Republican suffers there, but we don't complain, and I'm not complaining. It's just a fact of life, right? So like I'm saying, if I'm offending the Democrats, it's not like I don't understand what the pain that I'm inflicting, because I get it all the time. I mean, and rightfully we should, because we're grown-ups. It's just words, right? I mean, it's okay. You can say whatever you want to me about Republicans or being a white male, or you can say whatever you want. I mean, I don't care. All right? No. But you just have to try to restrain yourself when you have the impulse to take away my First Amendment rights, okay? Because you don't like what I say, right? Like, in other words, you don't even have to like what I'm saying. You don't even have to be nice to me when I say it. I don't even expect that much. Just don't take away my right to speak, which is what you've done here with this trespass nonsense. Okay? And you took away my right to speak, and then you slandered me after you did that. That's like tying somebody up, and after you tie them up, you start punching them. Right? That's what that is. And that's the way that all the evil people in history do it. Because if you go and you take somebody out before you assassinate their character, then they become a martyr, and you created a giant mess for yourself. So what you have to do is you have to muzzle them and then discredit them. And you can, after you muzzle them, you can say whatever you want because they can't defend themselves, right? So you muzzle them, you discredit them, and then you destroy them. That's the pattern for totalitarian regimes throughout history when they know what they're doing and they do it right. That's the right way to do it. You muzzle, which is what you did when you trespassed me, and then you slander them, which is what you've been doing ever since I've been gone, because somebody told me you had a meeting and people were saying I'm dangerous, and you probably think I'm dangerous because I'm not. I mean, what is your criteria for dangerous? Because what John Rice says? John Rice is a liar. The man is a liar. And like I said, in my opinion, He's got mental issues because this is what he was doing to me. Ooh, ooh, ooh. He was bumping me with his pot belly. Like he was trying to bump me out the door like we were in a hockey game or something like that. I don't know. That to me, that's a sign of a mental problem. Okay? You don't bump people with your stomach. That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, what is he, like an amateur sumo wrestler or something? I mean, what's going on with that? You know? And I didn't get upset. I just looked at him. I'm like, why are you acting this way? That's exactly what I said. I said, why are you acting this way? I mean, David, this is, again, the following week, November 8th, David and I came into church. We were late because I'm always late. We went up into the balcony, right? John Rice is over there in the sound booth. I look over there. He's 100 feet away. He's probably 50 feet away from us. He's 100 feet away from anybody else. He does not have a mask on, which makes perfect sense because he's not close. He's not anywhere near anybody. So I didn't think twice about it. I'm like, okay, well, whatever. I mean, I don't care. Wear a mask and don't wear a mask. I really don't care. If a mask makes you feel safe, then wear a mask. That's fine. I mean, if you ask me, it's a bad decision. It's medically detrimental to wear a mask. But that's just my opinion, and 34,000 doctors. But, you do whatever you want, So he's not wearing a mask. I don't care. I'm not wearing a mask. He's not wearing a mask. And then about 10 seconds later, he's over there with a mask on, and he's wearing it under his nose. And he's harassing me for not wearing a mask. I'm like, what is going on here, folks? What is the problem exactly? Something is wrong. Something is very wrong, like dramatically wrong. Not even like mildly wrong, like dramatically wrong. So you got your mask under your nose. You're harassing me for not wearing a mask. And then when I don't respond, because I ignored him, I'm like, I'm not giving this dude an ounce of my attention. This is crazy. This was before he bumped me with his stomach, by the way. So we haven't got that far down the mental instability road. But, it was before that. But I'm like, I'm not giving this guy an ounce of my attention when he's not wearing a mask. Now he's wearing a mask, and he's wearing it improperly. So I didn't respond. I just ignored him. And then he started harassing David. Now look, that's beyond the pale. You crossed the line, John. All right? You crossed the line, pal. David, all right, is a mentally disabled man. All right? David is under the care of state and county social workers. You got no business harassing him because you're having a mental breakdown or whatever your problem is. You got no business, man. Okay? And you just got no business. I don't understand. Another thing I don't understand. I mean, I'm all confused over here. What is going on here? Does anybody in this church know what they're doing? That's what I want to know. It doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like it. It seems like you're so crazed and loony and wild-eyed with your Democrat fanaticism, your Democrat Party political doctrine fanaticism, that you're just going off the deep end. You're harassing mentally disabled people because the people that picked them up and brought them to church aren't doing what you want them to do. It's crazy, man. That's crazy. So David ignored him because David follows my lead, right? Like I said, I've been bringing David to church for like 8 or 10 years. Sunday morning, choir, occasionally I'll bring him to like a family picnic, whatever. Anything I can think of. We went bowling once or twice, with the social worker. What the heck is going on here, people? All right, we're at 23:45. I'm going to make a new video. This would be number 1. I'm sure it'll only be 2 videos. I'm not going to go crazy here. But again, today is Thursday, February the 11th, I think, 2021, 1:06 a.m. I'll be right back.